Well, if you were watching that 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup final between Mexico and the U.S., it was, wow, anything but predictable.
Absolutely. That Houston match, it really delivered right up to the final whistle.
It did. Mexico ultimately grabbed their 10th Gold Cup title, a really tight 2-1 win.
Yep, and it was Edson Alvarez who nailed that winning goal in the second half. What a header.
So today we're going to dive deep into why this game felt so significant. Not just, the score, but what it really means for both teams moving forward.
Exactly. That's the mission here. Let's get beyond just the result. We want to pull out the key moments, the tactics, the emotions, and really look at the bigger picture. What does this mean long term, especially with, what's coming up?
Okay, let's unpack this then. Dive right into the action. Because this match, it just exploded from the start, didn't it?
It really did.
I mean, just 4 minutes in, Chris Richards puts the U.S. ahead. A thumping header, bounced off the bar, crossed the line, just like that.
An absolute dream start for the U.S. Talk about setting the tone early. Pure euphoria for the American fans there.
Yeah, an immediate statement. Signaled they were there to play hard from minute one.
Right. But, that early goal also kind of highlighted Mexico's composure, I thought. They took the punch.
They did.
Didn't panic. They absorbed it and stuck to their plan. That's often the mark of a team that knows how to win these big games.
That's a great point. That opening definitely set a wild pace. But Mexico, well, they didn't just roll over, obviously. How did they manage to claw back before halftime? That equalizer was key.
It was Raúl Jiménez, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A really clinical finish with his left foot. Got them back level.
Yes. And there was more to that goal, wasn't there? Something quite personal.
There was. And this is, I think, really compelling. Jimenez dedicated that goal to his former teammate, Diogo Jota, who had passed away.
Yes. That adds such an emotional layer.
It really does. It just shows you how these huge sporting moments can intersect with deeply personal things. It connects players, fans. It makes the game about more than just rivalry. It felt profound.
That's incredibly powerful. It makes you think about team dynamics and motivation. Okay, so scores level, halftime break, stadium's buzzing. How did Mexico approach the second half? Did they shift gears?
Oh, they definitely did. You can see they stepped up the pressure, started controlling the ball more. They looked determined.
And then came the decisive moment.
Then came Alvarez, that header from the set piece. Powerful. Just, authoritative.
But not without some drama first. It was initially ruled offside, wasn't it? I remember that collective gasp.
Oh, yeah. The flag went up. For a second, you thought, oh, no, here we go. Chaos in the stands.
My heart stopped for a second. Seriously thought VAR was going to be the big story again. But then...
Then the check.
Yeah.
And VAR converted. Goal stands.
Yeah.
And the stadium, which was, let's be honest, mostly pro-Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
It just erupted. Absolute pandemonium.
That VAR moment, though, it adds fairness, but it does change the flow sometimes, doesn't it?
It does. Look, VAR gets a lot of criticism, sometimes rightly so for the delays, but here, it felt like it did its job. Confirmed a massive, potentially title-deciding goal based on fact, not just a split-second call. It removed that element of doubt, which in a final is pretty crucial.
True. So 2-1 Mexico, the tension was just cranked way up. And the U.S. pushed, right? They had that late chance.
They did. Patrick Agyemang, right near the end, got a shot off from close range.
But Malagon, the keeper for Mexico, made a brilliant save.
Absolutely shut the door, denied them right at the death. And that was pretty much it. Mexico saw it out.
Held firm. Champions again.
So final whistle blows. Mexico celebrates. But let's think about the road ahead now for both teams because, context is important here for the U.S.
Right. They were missing quite a few key players for this tournament.
Exactly. Several regulars weren't there. So you have to see this Gold Cup, for the U.S. at least, partly as a testing ground. High-pressure games to look at younger talent. Guys like Diego Luna, Freese, Agyemang himself getting that late chance.
Getting valuable minutes in a final.
Precisely. And all of this is happening with the 2026 World Cup on the horizon, co-hosted by
Mexico, the U.S., and Canada.
Yeah. So this Gold Cup, it really felt like an important preview. A glimpse of where both teams are, maybe where the U.S. needs to develop, and confirmation of Mexico's ability to win under pressure.
Yeah, Mexico takes the trophy, takes the momentum. They'll carry that confidence forward, no doubt. So turning it over to you, our listener, thinking back on the game, was Jimenez your man of the match?
Good question.
And what about that U.S. performance? Considering the missing players, did they underperform? Or did they just run into a really good Mexico side that delivered when it mattered most? What stands out to you?
Yeah, it's worth thinking about because watching these tournaments, it gives you so much insight, not just the score, but team dynamics, strategy, who's stepping up. It's like reading a tactical blueprint for what might come next, especially as 2026 gets closer and closer.